Recently, I discovered I had some potential dietary restrictions. So when we went to Disney this year, we had to look for different options. Join me as I go. Hey folks, welcome to the Down the Road Travel Channel. My name is Will Van Winkle. Recently I discovered I may have a gluten intolerance. Now it's not a gluten allergy, I can still have it. It just makes me break out into a really nasty rash, especially here on my arms. So I'm not one of those people that really has no choice. I can have stuff that gluten has been near. Too much of it will make me have some issues. So some of you people have a little bit more extreme issues, and that is why I am discovering, or trying to discover rather, the dietary plans, the dietary accommodations that Walt Disney World in Florida offers. So when I first started doing this video, I wasn't sure if I was going to do it by chronological order when we went to the places or by park order. I finally decided to go ahead and do park order because it seems to make more sense instead of jumping around. Now I know if you got lightning lanes, you're used to jumping around the parks, but I'm talking about jumping from park to park. So I've kind of reorganized it and I'm going to do it by park order. I'll start with Magic Kingdom because the restaurants we frequent, it'll likely be the easiest. And at the time I started editing the video, it was also the most complete. At Magic Kingdom, we tend to stick with quick service for one or two reasons. Either I personally don't find some ADR restaurants to be worth the extra time or effort, or they're usually family style, paying a fixed amount for what is usually more food than we can eat. It just seems wasteful, especially considering the amount you pay. You may disagree with me, so again, this is just my 2 cents. Our first stop is Pinocchio Village House. Here I tend to split the kids' meals with my wife. We'll get the gluten-free pizza along with gluten-free chicken strips. The pizza is a cauliflower crust, your choice of cheese or pepperoni. Both are good. And yeah, I will say the crust seems a bit gluey, and I find that tends to be the case with all cauliflower crust pizzas. Gluten-free crust, that is. But it's not bad. The flavor is decent. The texture is so much better than pizza crust made with gluten-free flour. I find those to be ridiculously heavy. The chicken strips had me worried. Now, they came out much darker than regular chicken strips, but to my surprise, they came out tender, moist, and with no taste of char at all. Both came with fries and a kid's drink. And to be honest, every time we've done this, there was food left over. So for us, it was a great value as well as far as Disney goes. Then we head over to Columbia Harbor House. Here I get the shrimp skewers. They have the gluten-free chicken strips as well, but I don't want to eat the same food all day, and the skewers were a nice change of pace. They're basically grilled or boiled. I'm not really sure which. I think they're supposed to be grilled, but I think they're actually boiled and then just reheated on the grill. Seasoned shrimp on the skewers served with rice and a vegetable, usually green beans. So it's also much healthier than normal park food. The adult portion comes with 2 skewers, so about 8 shrimp. The kids comes with 1 skewer. And we've done the splitting of the kids' meal here as well, just to get the drinks. I will say, no matter how the shrimp is prepared, it's still pretty good. It's seasoned well, the rice is good, everything with it is pretty decent. Snacks felt like they were going to be a burden though. But I found out that both Mickey bars and Dole Whip are gluten-free, as are most types of popcorn, depending on what's on there, seasonings, coatings, what have you, that may change. And of course, caramel apples, as well as a few other snacks. I tend to bring my own snacks into the park, so as far as snacks go, I really only have limited information here, and that's kind of the end of my experience at Magic Kingdom. Even though this video was done over close to the course of a year, we tend to stay with these 2 places at Magic Kingdom and save our money for better restaurants at the other parks. Heading over to Hollywood Studios, of course, we went to our favorite 50s Primetime Diner. This one is an ADR, Advanced Dining Reservation. You can join the walk-up list, but it's pretty much a roll of a dice if you get in at the time you want, so better make those reservations in advance. At 50s, the first time I ate here gluten-free, it wasn't a busy time of the year. So the chef actually came out and asked what I would like. By the way, when making those advanced dining reservations, you can put dietary concerns into your reservation. So if the restaurant has an allergy-friendly menu, they'll bring it to the table. When speaking with the chef, he simply asked what I wanted. Shocked me. I asked about the fried chicken thinking there's no way they can pull this off. And they brought out the most amazing fried chicken. Now, I knew the regular was good, and I feared the gluten-free version, which I didn't even know was possible again. It was every bit as good as the regular, if not better. So I was afraid of it for no reason. It might have actually been a little bit crispier than the regular fried chicken. Not mad about it at all. Next time I decided to take a leap of faith, though, and get the chicken pot pie. It was, well, weird. Instead of the puff pastry crust, it had a slice of gluten-free toast on top and bottom of the pot pie filling. Not bad, not good, just weird. Apparently, the crust plays a huge part in whether or not the pot pie is good. There are other items like salmon and meatloaf, neither which I'm very fond of. But just know that you have many options at 50's prime time, and the same can be said about dairy and other allergies there. We hit the Brown Derby on a date night. We only entered the park for dinner and thought we'd hit Fantasmic, but one of the kids who was hanging out with the other kids at a hotel had forgotten their key to the camper, so we had to cut that short, but not before we had a great dinner at the replica of the famous Hollywood landmark. I had steak, which wasn't on the gluten-free menu, but they said there had been some alterations and it was now gluten-friendly, and I think that had to do with the sides. Dana had the Cobb salad, what Brown Derby is most famous for. And when they brought the bread to the table, they had gluten-free rolls that were so good, I actually asked where they came from. And that's Bloomfield Farms, if you're curious, by the way. I mean, the stuff was closest thing to real bread that I had had in quite a while. The steak was great. The sides were meh. Yeah. The salad was good, but I personally would have liked a bit more dressing on it. Overall, the experience was good. The food was decent. I didn't feel it lived up to the hype. Maybe it was because of the gluten allergy. I'm not real sure. Let me know what you think of that one in the comments below. Also at Hollywood Studios, we went to Ronto Roasters. I looked at this place a few times and thought nothing of it, but on a last minute trip, we didn't even bring breakfast items. So we rope dropped to Hollywood Studios after getting off of Rise of the Resistance. We started to get a little bit hungry. So looking through the menus, we found Ronto Roasters had some gluten-free options, so decided to give it a shot. Dana and I split the Ronto morning wrap. I was pleasantly surprised by this. I say the bread kind of gave a little bit of a greasy feeling to it, but I find that with a lot of gluten-free breads. And when I'm looking at recipes for gluten-free stuff, I've basically have found out that every recipe says to increase the fat content, so use sour cream instead of water, that kind of thing. And so they can hardly be faulted for the feeling left behind from the gluten-free options, because in order to make it pliable, in order to make it edible, you have to increase the fat content, and that's going to show up in the bread. Now, we also tried the Ronto wrap at one point, and while a bit messy, get extra napkins, maybe a fork or two if you're splitting it. It's great, but I'm going to tell you there's coleslaw on it, and that will tear right through that wrap. So you're going to be eating most of it with a fork, not as a wrap. But it is well worth the extra effort of using a fork. Looking at snacks here, I went straight to Hollywood Scoops. That is my standby place there. Why fight it? I want ice cream. That's it. Ice cream. Really what needs to be said here. I mean, it's ice cream. Most single flavor ice creams are gluten-free. Hot fudge is generally gluten-free. Whipped cream, safe bet. Again, I don't have a lot in the way of snacks because I tend to bring my own even to this park. All right, folks, let's take a break from the parks. Let's talk about some accommodations. We're going to go to our favorite, our standby Fort Wilderness. You think having the RV, we wouldn't need to get anything. But hey, I'm on vacation. I don't want to cook. So we ordered from Trails End. The only thing that looked appealing to me was a barbecue, aside from the huge family dinner that has chicken sausage and brisket and a ton of sides for way too much money. The only thing that looked appetizing were the ribs. Boy, was I wrong. Look, I'm not even exaggerating. My dog wouldn't eat these. I dropped some. He wouldn't touch it. They were too tough for the dog. If the dog cannot get the meat off that bone, you're going to have a hard time. Slaw was good. Fries were good. Ribs, no, 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 no. No, no. They also have a bread basket that is gluten, wheat, egg, fish, shellfish, milk, peanut tree, nut, and soy allergy friendly. But I mean, what's left to make the bread? I didn't try it. If you have, let me know in the comments below if you lived or if you were hospitalized. It sounds painful to me, but they take out all the fun. They take out everything that could be possibly good. The only thing is it doesn't say it's vegan, so but it doesn't have egg or milk, so maybe it is, and it's probably something that you could throw at your enemy and knock them out. Sorry, vegans. It's the truth. I'm not going into all resorts because we've only stayed at a few, but I think it is worth mentioning that at the all-star resorts, they had a burger about what you expect, pretty good, nothing amazing. Theme park burger. But to be honest, these cafeterias have a pretty big gluten-free menu. They have from anything from Mickey waffles, which I will try at some point, to pancakes, to burgers, sandwiches, even mac and cheese. Even if you aren't staying at one of these resorts, the size of the menu is worth checking them out, at least for dinner, if you have these restrictions. I'm sure other resorts have samplings, but these have a lot more options. Even compared to Fort Wilderness, they had way more options. I didn't see anything on a breakfast menu at Fort Wilderness, but I really looked hard at it. So that's going to be my next thing when we go in the summer. So now heading to Epcot. This is where my first attempt at eating with a food allergy occurred, and I will say it didn't go well. We started at Seasons, but got there about 7:30. Now, little did I know the kitchen is only open until 4:30, and after that, everything is grab and go. They close at 8, so even the grab and go were slim pickings. I mean, as far as I could tell, there were no meal options, none left anyway. And what was left, very little of that stuff were things that I could eat. So we headed over to get Japanese. Now, I had no idea soy sauce had gluten in it. Traditional soy sauce is water, soybeans, and salt. But if you look, many have wheat in them. So teriyaki chicken was not the best choice. So second attempt at gluten-free at Epcot. First place was closed. What is this place called?
Oh, I don't remember. Hold on.
It's called Ooh, I Don't Remember. Hold on. It's a long name. Chicken teriyaki. Very, very salty. Still trying to figure out the name of the place.
Katsura Grill.
Katsura Grill. I found nothing on the menu that said gluten-free. Just put it that way. So maybe stay away from the Japanese place. Now, here's what made me sad. Leal has nothing listed as gluten-free. Why? It's a bakery. There's flour all over that joint. But since I'm a little less sensitive than some, I did go ahead and have something there. I had the creme brulee. Not a huge fan of it, but it'll work as a consolation prize. I've also found that the yogurt parfaits are supposed to be gluten-free as well. I have not tried those yet. I will probably in the future. Now, neither of these items replaced the fruit tart or the baguette, but at least I had something while everybody else had the good stuff right in front of me. So mean. Over at Animal Kingdom, we had Flame Tree Barbecue. Now, this was so much better than Fort Wilderness ribs. I had barbecue chicken and pork ribs. It was like a combo platter thing. So it's a fair comparison. These were much, much better, although still not the best I've ever had. They were edible. They were even flavorful and much easier to eat. The chicken was good. I wasn't into the beans. The coleslaw was creamy and went well with the rest of the meal. These ribs I could actually eat. So again, this is a fair comparison. I'm comparing Fort Wilderness ribs to Animal Kingdom ribs, and you know they're from the same vendor, you know they're from the same company, and you know they're prepared the same, and these were just so much better. So maybe I just had a bad batch at Fort Wilderness. It was kind of an odd time of the day. Maybe they've just been sitting out too long. I don't know which, but I'll say personally I found what was over at Flame Tree Barbecue and Animal Kingdom to be a lot better. While at Animal Kingdom, we also went to Satuli Canteen. Satuli Canteen surprisingly has some gluten-free options. I believe I got the slow roasted pork shoulder potato hash bowl. It's a lot to say. It wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't the best thing I've ever put in my mouth, but you know, it's the ice cream over at Scoops and Hollywood Studios, I guess. It's not memorable. It's not bad. Put it that way. I'm not thinking about it when I'm not at Disney. So it's good. It's something to have. It's something to eat. It's something different. I wouldn't go out of my way to find it again. Put it that way. Last but not least, let's take a trip to Disney Springs because this is where the best eateries in all of Disney World are reported to be. First, we make our way to the Polite Pig. Not reservations. It is a walk-up wait list counter order kind of thing where they bring the food to you, so quick casual. Most of what is on the smoker is gluten-free. I had the ribs. So you're seeing this was every time I had ribs, it was on the same trip, by the way, because that's what I found at these places that seemed the most interesting to me. The place was packed, but we were there around Christmas time and in the evening. I've never been to Disney Springs in the evening hours, but I wasn't really a fan of it. So I won't be doing that again, at least not during a peak season like Christmas or summer vacations. All in all, not bad. Everybody seemed satisfied. The gluten-free options weren't bad. Frontera Cochina, however, is a different story. This is probably my favorite place in Disney Springs. This isn't a Disney exclusive, but there are none of these where I live, and if you don't have one nearby and like Mexican, it's worth a visit. It's not Tex-Mex. It does lean a little more towards the traditional side, but there's another element here. I'm not sure exactly what. So it's some kind of non-traditional, traditional Mexican Tex-Mex combo. It encompasses all realms of Mexican food, I think. When I mentioned gluten-free to the waitress, she just kind of looked at me like I was an idiot because pretty much everything uses corn tortillas. So most, if not all of the items on the menu are gluten-free. Usually I get carne asada tacos. This time I had a red chili duck carnita enchilada. Wasn't bad, but I definitely preferred the carne asada. The guacamole, it's always gone within seconds of it hitting the table. It's like a school of hungry piranha hit that table every time. If you haven't tried this place, definitely get in there. If you like guacamole, try theirs. It's great. While at the shopping district, I hit Aaron McKenna's New York Bakery. This place is vegan, kosher, free of refined sugar, wheat, gluten, soy, dairy, and eggs. No wonder when I dropped the cinnamon roll on the counter in the RV, it sounded like a manhole cover being dropped. This thing was dense. Like really dense. Like the kid that used to copy off you in school dense. That dense. Or like an elected official trying to relate to the common man. That kind of dense. I mean, it was dense. Have I made that clear yet? I don't know. It landed with a loud thud. I could eat 3 or 4 bites at a time. That was it. It was so heavy, that's all I could handle. I'd say it was about half the size of those 2-serving Little Debbie or Hostess. So probably about like that big. You know, the ones that you get at the gas station. You know, they come in a package like that, covered with all this really bad frosting, and you're supposed to only eat half of it, which is about that big, but everybody eats the whole package. Or maybe that was just me when I could have them. It lasted 4 days. It wasn't that big. It lasted 4 days because I could only eat 2 or 3 bites, or 3 or 4 bites maximum at a time without feeling weighed down. Now, this was the only place in all of Disney World that I did not have to wait in line for something. And now I know why. All in all, you can find some great things as well as just some terrible items at Walt Disney World in Florida. If you do a little research and keep in mind what you and your family likes and look at what's available, you're bound to find something at most of these places where your travel party would want to eat. While this video was created during the better part of a 1-year period, there are is definitely a lot more to explore. I know I would like to know your favorite places or favorite allergy-friendly dishes at Disney World. So please let me and our subscriber know your thoughts in the comments below, because it may help us find something that might be a little bit better than, just trying to play it safe and going with really bad ribs again, or going with something that is just kind of meh because that's what's there. If you have had an experience and you have a gluten allergy or any kind of allergy for that matter, let us know in the comments below so that we can pass that on. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you down the road.
Let's hit the road.